Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. How are you all doing? In today's tutorial we're going to learn how to make a smoky dress or a shirred dress. Right now you need your bust measurement, your waist and your hip, then the length of the dress. I already have the fabric folded into 4. Now for your folding, you're going to have quarter of your hip measurement plus 8 inches. So the hip I'm working with is 44 divided by 4, that's 11, plus an additional 8 inches, okay, because we need to share or smoke this dress so that it's going to get back to her original size. Right, so I'm going to mark out my starting point. Then from there I'm going to take my measurements. Now you know smoky dresses are usually off shoulder dresses, okay, so for this it will be an off shoulder and I'll do a -4. Okay, off shoulders are usually -4 to 5, but because I want to hem the top of this off shoulder dress, I'm going to make it -4 so that the remaining 1 inch would be for folding the top of the dress. I want the off shoulder to be -5, but I'll make it -4, leaving the extra 1 inch or the remaining 1 inch so that I can fold half inch in 2 places, okay, 2 times to hem the top of the dress. Okay, so that's why I'm making it -4. So if you want it to be -6, you're going to go ahead and do -5. So the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and mark out her half length, which is 17. Right, so I'm going to mark that out. Now the next thing you would do would be to mark out her dress length. So the dress, you're going to mark out the dress length of your client. So remember to place your tape at 4 inches from the starting point and mark the dress length. So your dress length could be any length. You can make it short, 3/4, whatever length you want it to be. So you go ahead and mark out your dress length. Now to your dress length, you're going to add some inches or some allowances to it, just like we have our bodycon dresses. And when you wear them and when you move, they tend to move up. You get, so when you wear bodycon dresses or very fitted dresses, they tend to move up. So because this is a shared dress, it's going to stick to your body. You're going to add additional 4 to 5 inches to the length of the dress so that when you share it up together, it will go to the actual length that you want and not be riding up your body when you wear the dress. So I'm leaving an extra 4 inches. The remaining 1 inch there would be to hem the bottom of the dress with half inch. Okay, I'm going to fold half inch in 2 places. That'll be 1 inch. Alright, so originally what I added to the length of the dress is 4 inches. The remaining 1 inch is for hemming the bottom of the dress, right? So the next thing you need to mark out is your chest line. Now you derive your chest line by dividing the bust measurement by 6 plus 2 inches. So getting that, I have 9 inches. Okay, so because it's a smoky dress or a shade dress, I'm going to add 1 inch to that. Okay, so whatever you have as your chest line, add 1 inch to that. Remember that when we make a full shoulder, we do 1 inch shoulder slope, but because this is an off shoulder and it's a shade dress, you don't want the armhole to be tight, so you're going to add extra 1 inch. So that's the concept behind that. The next thing I'll do is to mark out her waist to hip, which is 9 inches. Alright, so remember your chest line is your bust divided by 6 plus 2 inches. Whatever you have, add extra 1 inch for ease, okay, because it's a smoky dress. Now on the chest line, I'm going to mark the bust divided by 4 plus 8 inches. Okay, make a mark at that point. On the waistline, I'm going to mark the waist measurement divided by 4 plus 8 inches. Now you could do between 6 to 8 to 10 inches, and I'll tell you the trick. If you want it to be very fitted, very tight on your body, you add 6 inches allowance. If you want it to be somewhere in between, 8 inches, and 8 inches is the standard and it works for all sizes. Then if you want it to be really free, which I'm sure that smoky dresses are not always really free, you can add 10 inches. Now on the hip line, I marked the hip divided by 4 plus 8 inches. Then I connected. Like I said, 8 inches is standard, is very okay. You can as well use 6 inches, but please, 10 inches is still somewhere okay. So on the length of the dress, I'm going to mark the same thing I have on the hip, then remove 2 inches just to pencil or taper the lower part of the dress, like so. So we just basically have our basic dress, just that we added 8 inches extra to the measurement just for smoking. Okay, like I've said, 6, 8, 10 inches work very perfectly, but I would like you to try using 8 inches. It's going to give you a perfect smoky dress. It's not going to be very tight, it's not going to be very loose, it's just going to be perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to cut through from the bottom to the waist, to the hip, to the waist. Then when I get to the bust, I'll just go upward. Make sure I go up in a straight line, like so. then cut till the waist, right? So the next thing would be to determine your neck width. I'm going to go ahead and cut out that my starting point so I can mark out my neck width. Now for the neck width, you can just decide to come inwards by 5 inches from the outside, okay, and carve out your sleeve. But if you want to take your measurement, you can just, do half of your shoulder measurement minus 1.5. That gave me 6.5. Then I'll add extra 7 to 8 inches to it. Okay, so that's how to get for your neck width. Remember, when we're making an off shoulder, we always divide the shoulder by 2, then take away 1.5 inches from it. So that's exactly what I've just done. Or you can skip this whole process and just take away 5 inches, then make a slanted line with your ruler and cut that out. So here we have it. I remember that we folded into 4. That means we have the front and the back at the same time, right? So I'm going to take out one piece. You can see what we have. So one of them is the front, one of them is the back, right? So I'm going to take out one which I would consider to be the front. Then the other one would be the back. So I've taken out the front, so I'm just going to fold back so that I'll have it exactly as it was, right? So this would become the back piece. Now what I'm going to do is to go ahead and slash it open. Now note that this is not going to have any zipper allowance at the back. If you're wondering why I'm slashing it open, the reason is because I want one part to be open. Okay, I need one part to be open so that when I'm sewing, so you're going to understand what I mean as we process or as we proceed, right? So just go ahead, okay, and cut open the back. Just cut it open. That's where the joining of this dress is going to be after you're done smoking or sharing. Smoking, not the one who smokes cigar. Smoking. All right, so you're going to make sure you open up the back because it's easier when you smoke your dress like this. I'm going to show you how. It's really easy this way. Trust me, it's going to make your smoking process really easy. So when you open up the back, you're going to get the front piece, then place them together. I'll just show you that shortly. So go ahead and lay your front pattern on your table. You can see how wide this fabric is coupled with that of the back. Okay, but we're going to use our smoky or elastic thread to smoke this back to the body measurement of this person, and it's going to fit perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to place, you can see I'm placing one side of the back that I've already cut out on the front. You can see, so after placing that, I'll go ahead and join it with 1 inch seam allowance all the way like so. Just go and join it with 1 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to place the other one. Okay, now the essence is to just have one long piece so that you can just run a straight stitch across all parts, across the whole fabric. Okay, so also go and lay the other parts and go and use your 1 inch seam allowance. Then at the top of the dress, you fold half inch twice. Okay, the same on the back pattern, fold half inch twice and stitch on it. Okay, or you can as well go and overlock, but I like to fold it, hem it like so. Then when you're done joining the dress, you're also going to go to the lower part of the dress and fold half inch 2 times like so, just to hem the bottom of the dress. Right, so when you're done, you're ready to smoke. Now for your smoking, you need a smoky thread, also called an elastic thread, and this is what it looks like. Yeah, it's really stretchy and is elastic. So you're going to get your bobbin and place the smoky thread on it, then use your hands to hold it firmly. Make sure you hold it very firm, then you wind the elastic thread round the bobbin. Okay, so you're going to be stretching it a bit. Make sure that it is firm, okay, and not loose inside the bobbin case. Okay, you can see how I'm winding it, making sure I'm holding it tightly so that it doesn't loosen from my hands. Okay, if it does, the thread inside the bobbin is going to loosen and you have to start afresh. So you can see, keep winding it till your bobbin is full. Okay, but it's not going to be so full because the elastic thread is actually a bit thicker than the normal thread we work with. Okay, so you don't need to fill up your bobbin so that it fits into your bobbin case, right? So you're going to wind this till you feel it's okay. Now you're going to get your bobbin case. Now for the upper thread, you're going to have your normal thread at the upper part of the sewing machine, while the smoking thread is going to be underneath the sewing machine, right at the presser foot. Now you're going to get your bobbin case. Now what I like to do is that I like to get a new bobbin case, or a bobbin case that I don't use for my sewing machine. Okay, I actually have a bobbin case for smoking and the bobbin cases for making my normal straight stitches. Do you get? Because you don't want to use the same bobbin case for both of them. It's just going to make your machine to be skipping threads when you're done smoking, right? So as well, if your bobbin case is too tight, there's a knot on the bobbin case and you can use a small screwdriver to loosen it so that it can so that the bobbin can fit very well because of the elastic thread inside. Okay, so that's why I said you don't use the same bobbin case for elastic thread as well as to use to sew for your normal thread. Do you get? So I hope you understand that. So you're going to go ahead and put that into your underneath your sewing machine, then thread your sewing machine the normal way you thread the sewing machine. Now you need to regulate the stitch length, sorry, the stitch width of your sewing machine. So you're going to turn the regulator. If you're using an industrial sewing machine, you can turn it to 4 or 5, but I'm working with 4. And what I do is that before I start smoking, I get a piece of fabric and I test between stitch length, I think stitch length or stitch width 4 to 5. I go ahead and test 5 and I see how it has smoked. I go ahead and test 4 just to be sure. These smoky threads, most of them don't have the same elasticity. Okay, some are more stretchy than the other. So depending on how stretchy the thread is, that also depends on your stitch width that you're going to use. So for me, 4 is okay for my stitch width using my industrial sewing machine. Now if you're using a blackhead sewing machine, just make sure that you press the regulator, the stitch regulator down. Make sure it is down at the lowest. Okay, or if you're using a tabletop machine, you can set your stitch width to 4 inches. So just play around it. Use a piece of fabric. You can see me using a piece of fabric to test. So wherever I have much more sharing, that's the one I would use. So for me, 4 works really fine. Now I've gone ahead to sew the sides of my dress using 1-inch allowance. I've hemmed the bottom and the top. So I'm sharing, right? I'm smoking. So I'm going to start with the bigger panel, which is the front panel. I've already joined the sides. Do you get? So I'm just going to start smoking. Then I'm going to go ahead and sew my first line. Okay, so when you sew the first line, like so, just go ahead and smoke. Then when you sew the first line, it's not going to give you that really smoky effect. So you sew at least like 5 lines. You're just going to have some gatherings. Please don't lose hope. Don't be like this is not smoking. Just sew up to 5 lines and you're going to start seeing the sharing or the smoking effect. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew the second line. Now you need to make sure that your lines are at least half an inch apart from each other. So each line you sew, make sure it's half inch apart from the other line. Now there is this stereotype that when you're making smoky dresses that you don't backstitch, blah blah blah, you don't do this, you don't do that, but you can actually backstitch. And there's also this stereotype that when you sew and get to the middle and your thread cut, you have to loosen that particular one that you stitched and start from the beginning. But foul. When you get to a point and your maybe the lower thread finishes, okay, you can stop, take out the dress, roll your smoky thread on your bobbin again, put it back, then start sewing. But what you have to do is that you need to make sure that you back stitch, so you can tighten the stitch at that point so that it will not loosen. Then you continue sewing. So all those stereotypes that you don't back stitch, that's not true, or that doesn't work for me. I'm not just going to call them bluff, but I'm just saying that doesn't work for me. I backstitch at the beginning of my smoking, and if for any reason I get to the middle and my thread has finished, I remove it, refill my thread, go back to the same point where I stopped, make sure I backstitch before I continue sewing, okay, or continue sharing. That way smoking actually is very easy. Okay, so you're not going to have any problems with the dress if you backstitch or you don't backstitch and all of those things. Make sure that at the starting point you backstitch just to secure your stitches, and when you get to the end also make sure that you backstitch. Okay, or what's it called, what's another word for it, backstitch or double stitch, something like that, just to secure your stitches so that it doesn't rip apart, right? So you're just going to sew till you get to where you have the sleeve, okay, the yeah, the armhole. You're going to sew till you get to the armhole. So when you get to that point, you're going to stop, right? So keep on sharing, like so. You can see it's beginning to look like a smoky dress now after I've sewn like 3 or 4 lines. Do you get? So you're going to keep smoking till you get to the armhole. So you can see I've gotten to the armhole. Okay, so I don't want to sew another line because that has gotten to the armhole. So what I'll do is to go ahead and start from the other side, or the other side of the back. You get? So after my fold, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch it like so. It's just going to give you the same effect the other one gave. If you've sewn one line, it's going to look like I'm not doing anything. Why is it not sharing? Why is it not smoky? Why is it not doing like this? Chill, calm down. Just sew five more lines, and you're going to see the effect of what you have just done. So you keep smoking till you get to where you have the armhole. So what you do is to go ahead and do the other side. We have the two back sides, so just going to go ahead and do that. And while you are doing that, are you new here? Is this the first time of visiting this channel? You're welcome. I love you so much. Thank you for joining us. I hope you like what you're seeing here. I hope you subscribe to this channel. I hope you like all the videos that you watch. I hope that you share it with your friends, so that other people can get to see this video just the way you have seen it. And to the people that have always been here, my subscribers, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you. So you can see I've gotten to the armhole for all of them right now. So you can now start sewing across the entire fabric. So that's why I said you should join the sides, open. That's why I said you should open the back, then join the sides. Okay, it's just going to make the whole sharing process a whole lot easier for you, a lot easier. Seriously, I promise you. So now that I've gotten to the armhole, I can now start sharing across the entire width of the fabric. So you can see what I'm doing. Just be smoking from the one side of the back to the front till the other side of the back. You can see that. Okay, so keep smoking. And this smoking is actually a little bit stressful, especially when you're working with blackhead sewing machines and you have to pedal the machines. But when you're using an electric machine, it tends to save more time, save energy, and actually make the work fun, because you're actually not doing much. You're just sewing straight lines, straight lines, straight lines. Okay, just making sure that they are half-inch apart from each other. Do you get? So that's just it. It took me up to 3 hours, 5 hours maximum. I'm not so sure, because I didn't sew them all in a day. Okay, I smoked till the middle of the dress. I left it and continued the next day. So I think doing it all through, I did it for like 5 hours or 6 hours. I'm not really sure. But please, time is not just going to be of the essence. You're going to make sure that you're doing a good job while you're trying to be time conscious. You get? I'm working with an electric machine, that's why. But if you're working with a manual machine, it's going to take you a long time. So make sure that you charge the person. Make sure that you charge very well, because it's actually very stressful, especially when you're making use of your manual sewing machine. Now, even when you're making use of electric sewing machine, you need to buy fuel, you need to oil the machine and all of those things. So make sure that your hard work is not wasting. Do you get? So I'm just going to share this from the beginning to the end. Right, so now you have seen it. I've shared from the top to the bottom. Nigeria, top to bottom. Nigeria, top to bottom. All right, so I've shared from top to bottom. Sorry, from top. Okay, from the beginning to the end. I don't think that top to bottom. Nigeria is not going top to bottom editing. We're going from bottom to up. Right, so you can see I've shared. This is the inside. You can see that my stitches are half-inch apart from each other. Now that big fabric, I've shared it, and it's looking so small. You even be wondering if this should actually enter you by the time you are done smoking or sharing. Now, so what you're going to do is to flip it right side facing right side and go and join it at the back. Remember, we opened the back. Okay, just join it with half-inch seam allowance, and that would be all. So Just put it underneath your presser foot and join with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now when you're joining, please remove the elastic thread from your presser foot. Okay, you're not going to join the back using 1/2 inch allowance with your smoky thread. You're going to use your normal sewing thread. So make sure that you remove the smoky thread and use your normal sewing machine thread. If not, you're going to have it puffy, pokey, just going to be like a ruched dress at the back, and that's not what we're looking for. All right, so you're going to use your normal sewing thread to sew the back, okay, which is what I'm doing right here. So by the time you're done, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Right, so I'm done closing up the back. Remember, use your 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I've brought it back to the front. This is what it looks like, guys. I know my table is not enough to show you, but this is it. You can see the armhole, you can see the dress itself. It's looking really small, but trust me, this dress can fit up to a size 16. Okay, so if you're a size 12, you can wear it. Size 14, you can wear it. Size 16, you can wear it. Okay, so this is what I'm just going to go ahead and put this on my dummy, on my mannequin, so that you can see. I think my mannequin is a size 12 or size 14, and this dress fits, and you have it. So yeah, this is it on the mannequin. So you can see what the smoky or the shirred dress looks like, and this is the back. You can see I'm not holding it anywhere with pins, but it's fitted snugly on my mannequin's body. Now this mannequin's hip is 39. The hip of my mannequin is 39, the bust is 33, the waist is 27, and you can see how it fits. While my client's waist is 39, her bust is 40, and her hip is 44. Now for the sleeve, I have my fabric and I folded it into 4 because I want to cut the two. I folded it into 2, okay, because I want to cut the 2 at the same time. Now for the width of my sleeve, okay, you're going to make it your round arm times 3 inches. So that's what I've cut out for the width of my sleeve. Do you get? The person's round arm is 14 inches, so 14 times 3, that's what you're going to cut out, okay, because I want to use an not elastic thread. I want to shear or smoke from the top till like 3/4 of the dress. Then I'm going to use my elastic to hold the lower part of the dress, okay. So that's what I've just done. Now for this, you're going to need your round shoulder measurement, okay. So the round shoulder I'm working with is 45. Okay, I want to cut an off shoulder sleeve, but the only thing is that it's a smoky off shoulder sleeve, so I'm going to add some allowances. That's what I'm showing you. I already have a tutorial on how to make an off shoulder sleeve. Now the round shoulder is 45. Now remember, the shoulder is 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now for an off shoulder, we always take out 1.5 inches from half of the shoulder. You get? So 8 minus 1.5 is 6.5, similar to what we did when we were drafting the main dress. Do you get? So 6.5 times 4, okay, it means that's 26. That means for the front we have 13, the back we have 13. Do you get? 6.5 times 4, because we have the fabric folded into 2, and we have the folding for front and folding for the back. So it means that when I fold for the front, I mark 6.5. When I open it up, it will be 13. So the front is 13, the back is 13. So this 26 inches, if you sum both of them, front and back, is 26. So 26 is my upper bust. For you to find your sleeve, okay, your sleeve width for an off shoulder, you need to subtract your round shoulder from your upper bust. So you need to subtract your upper bust from your round shoulder. So now I've gotten the upper bust to be 26. Then the round shoulder that I took on the body of my client is 45. So 45 minus 26 gave me 19 inches. Now because I have my sleeve folded into 2, okay, I'm going to divide that by 4. Okay, because you know it's 2 sleeves, one for the left and one for the right, so we divided that by 4. So whatever I have, by dividing 19 by 4, I'm going to mark it and add my 8 inches allowance for smoking. Do you get? So that's what I've just done here. Now for you to know your sleeve. I'm going to come down by 1 inch. Remember, I'm going to fold the top of my sleeve just the same way I folded for the main dress. I'm going to fold half inch in 2 places. Okay, so that's why I marked 1 inch downwards. Then afterwards, I'm going to measure the armhole of my dress, but this can be a bit tricky because the dress is already smoked or shed, so it's going to give you false measurements. Okay, so when I measured down the armhole of the dress, you can see I'll just go ahead and mark it out. You can see I've marked it out. Now this is going to give us a bit of false measurement, so I'm not going to work with that. What I'm going to do is to remember that I used 10 inches for my chest line, you get. So I'm going to place my tape at 4 inches. Remember, I did -4, so at that 1 inch I came down by, I'm going to place my tape at 4 inches, then mark out 10 inches, okay, which was my chest line. Then I'm going to cover it like this. This is really easy. The 1 inch that I left at the top is just to fold the top of my sleeve. Okay, so this is how you make your smoky sleeve. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out. Right, so this is what I've done. I'll go ahead and smoke this sleeve, sorry, till like 3/4 of the sleeve. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and use my elastic to finish it up. So at the lower part, I'm going to fold 1 inch, okay, half inch in 2 places. That will be my elastic casing. Okay, so I'm going to pass my elastic in between that point. Right, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, guys, so I'm not shirring or smoking on the sleeve. You can see the 2 sleeves. So I have here my half-inch elastic. Okay, you can see I've smoked from top to at least 3/4 of the sleeve. Then I've also folded the elastic casing. Okay, remember I said fold half inch into 2. You can as well fold 3/4 into 2 places. Okay, the elastic needs at least some allowances to, flow or move freely inside the elastic casing. So this is the elastic I'm going to use. Now her round sleeve is 14, and the elastic I'm cutting out is just 9 inches. You can see, so 9 inches is what I'm cutting out for my elastic. So do the maths. 14, and I'm using 9 inches. Okay, so I took about 5 inches away from the sleeve, okay, from it. So I put it into a safety pin. Then I'm going to put it into the elastic casing. Please, you can fold 3/4 inches in 2 places for your elastic casing. Okay, so when I push in the elastic, I'm going to put it underneath my presser foot. Remember, I'm done smoking, so I've changed the presser foot, the bobbin, to a normal thread. Okay, then I'll just go ahead and hold down the elastic so that when I'm moving it with my safety pin, it's not going to move out from there. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and still use my safety pin to gather this. Okay, just to go ahead and pull out the elastic. You know how we make our balloon sleeves? Okay, so it's the same method. Okay, just use your safety pin to pull out the elastic. So when you get it to that point, you also go and take it under your presser foot and sew it down so that the elastic is safe there. It's not going to pull out. Okay, just use your sewing machine to hold it down as well. And guys, we are done. Okay, you just need to now attach this. Do it to the other sleeve, and you go ahead and attach it to your dress. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it right side facing right side. You can see. Then I'll go ahead and get the dress. Okay, so this is the dress. So I'm just going to match it up like so. Then match it up to where I have my joining. Okay, first pin it so it's not going to move around. Then I'm going to go ahead and match it up to where I have the joining of the armhole. Okay, where the 2 sides meet. So when I get to that point, I'm going to hold that point on my sleeve. Okay, I'll just go and hold that point, then take it away from the dress. Holding that point on the sleeve, I'll just go ahead and join it to the other side. You can see. Then I'll go and sew it down. Okay, so that's how to know the allowance to take for the sleeve. Just place it on the main dress itself. Whenever you get to the middle line where the front meets the back, okay, by the side, you're going to hold that point on the sleeve. Then go use that allowance to join it. Then sew down to your 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so that's how to close up your sleeve. Then at the bottom, you also use 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure that you push the elastic inside. Then you go ahead and stitch it like so. So when you're done, just go ahead and attach this to your dress. So when I turn it inside out, this is what it looks like. So you can see I have like a bob sleeve at the lower part, like a balloon sleeve at the lower part, and the upper part is a shirred sleeve. Okay, it's shirred. So I'm just going to go ahead and match the midpoints together, like so, right side facing right sides, pin it down. You can see, then sew from one end to the other end. Okay, just go ahead. You can also pin it down so it doesn't move around, but because I measured it, it's easy to sew, so I'll just go ahead and sew from one end. Sew, is this sew or sew? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew it from one end to the other using 1/2 inch. Okay, so you just go ahead and sew like so, and that is it. Then afterwards, I'm going to show you a finished work of what this dress looks like. Hopefully, if my client sends in, they don't like if my client sends in pictures, I'll send as well, but I'm going to try to take pictures and show you what this looks like on my mannequin. Okay, so I've attached the sleeve and this is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and do the same for the other sleeve, and there you have it. Okay, so the same thing I've done to the previous sleeve, I'll do the same thing to this one. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions, please, I'll be in the comment section to answer to all of your questions. And I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please post did I say post turn on your post notifications so that each time there's a new video you'll be notified. Also help me to like this video so that YouTube can recommend it to other people. And while you're at it, please try to watch the ads that show on this video, okay, so that we can move to the permanent site. God bless you for all the love you've shown me on this channel. God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. I love you. Until I come your way next time, I say remain your friend on YouTube, Noni. Bye. So this is what the smoky or shirred dress look like. It came out so beautiful. So this is the puff sleeve that we made. Okay, the upper part was smoked and the lower part was gathered with elastic in form of a puffy or a puff sleeve or a balloon sleeve. So this is the front and the back, and it came out so beautiful. So till I see you in my next one, bye.